Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Thursday, November 6, 2025, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of the said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 19, 2024. In light of my inspiration, I'd like to congratulate my fellow council members on their reappointments to council. I'm just going to give them a round of applause. Special shout out to Councilwoman Santos on your election. Madam Clerk, if we could have your inspiration.
May you carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt cannot be with us this evening. Mr. Kanaki.
Here.
Ms. Perry.
Here.
Ms. Santos.
Here.
And Mayor Farmer.
Here. Okay. At this time, we will have a presentation, they're here, from the Lawrenceville School, Touching Scholar in Civic Life. The students will be making a presentation on the Immigration Trust Act. You just come to the floor and just state your name.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayodele Joseph.
Hello, my name is Clara Kavas, and I'm a resident of Lawrence Township. My name is Olivia Kocha.
And before we begin, we have.
One moment, please. Is the mic on for them?
Oh. Try again.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Sorry about that.
No worries. But before we begin, we have handouts to give the council members, and we're just wondering what the best way to get that to you.
You can give them to the clerk.
No, pass it. Thank you. Oh, wonderful.
Hello, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We are students from the Lawrenceville School participating in the Hudson Scholars in Civic Life program, an initiative advancing civic education through scholarship, programming, and experiential learning. As a part of the program, we chose Trust Our Neighbors as our civic campaign, which aims to pass the Immigrant Trust Act in the New Jersey State Legislature. As children of immigrants, we have grown up in immigrant communities and know firsthand how valuable immigrants are to our society and culture. From our various backgrounds, we have all learned the importance of seeing ourselves within the context of our communities, whether it's filling backpacks with basic essentials for kids in foster care, bringing a warm meal to an ill neighbor, or helping a community member in need climb the stairs or carry their groceries.
We believe in the inherent dignity of every person, which affords them the right to security in their neighborhoods. No one should have to worry about being wrongly detained on the streets because of racial profiling. To build such safe communities, our group aims to foster trust between all New Jerseyans and in seeking public services. The federal government's wrongful ICE raids violate these aforementioned inalienable rights. To protect New Jerseyans, we call upon you to pass a resolution to urge the New Jersey government to pass the Immigrant Trust Act, which would allow every member of this state to seek public services without fear of deportation. Under the current immigration policy, people, regardless of their citizenship or documentation status, are racially profiled and unfairly detained. This creates an environment of distrust between immigrants, citizens, and local officials, which deters people from seeking essential public services like healthcare or education. Furthermore, when state, county, or municipal law enforcement officials help federal immigration authorities, they incur costs upon the state for which they are not reimbursed, diverting local resources away from local needs. By limiting when government entities and law enforcement can collect information on a person's immigration status, this act would ensure that anyone can use public services without fear of detention or deportation, and foster trusting culture where law enforcement officials are held accountable to keeping everyone in their communities safe. Countless townships and cities and counties have already passed resolutions in favor of this act, including Trenton, Newark, Edison, Patterson, and Princeton, as well as Union, Essex, and Hudson County. We urge you to join these other New Jersey communities in passing a resolution to support this act. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for your presentation and the use of your voices and for coming out this evening. Does the council have any other comments or would like to share? Well, on behalf of myself, I thank you again for coming and for sharing your information and for your great advocacy on behalf of our community. Thank you. And we will take it under consideration. At this time, we will have our opportunity for a public participation, 5 minutes. And I would like to ask, Dr. Woolley, if you could come first, because I know you're on a tight schedule this evening as we celebrate your wedding anniversary.
You know you married the right woman when she comes to council on her anniversary. So I'm gonna be here for a minute and then I'm gonna head out. The last council meeting, first of all, thank you.
We know you, but just say your name and sign in.
I should know that. Honorable Mayor and Council, thank you. My name is Chris Woolley. I'm Chair of the Board of Trustees of Michelle Patty. I'm a 45-year resident of Lawrence Township. Worked in recreation as a coach and worked with the Hammond soccer program. I was chair of the Mayor's Task Force on the future of Lawrence Community Center. I served the school district for 24 years in Lawrence. And last meeting, I shared with you that I was going to make a little trip out to Franklin Township to see their youth center, because I heard that their youth center is using a model of partnerships and close associations with other community entities to operate their youth center. So I went out on October the 27th and I met with their program director and I met with their school district liaison and I met with 3 partner organizations that they associate with. My goal tonight is not to suggest that Lawrence should replicate Franklin's model, but rather to highlight what's working well there and how similar ideas could inform the future of our own community center. Franklin Township Youth Center is a joint effort between the municipality and the school district, supported by nonprofit and even some for-profit partners. The result is a safe, vibrant, and well-used facility that truly serves as a home away from home for young people. A few key takeaways stood out. First was school partnership. Franklin places a school administrator on site During the day, the center serves as an alternative high school learning space. After school, it shifts to youth programs. Entry is monitored, and a retired school resource officer is always present. There's a library next door. Access for children to the library is permitted. Access from the library into the youth center is not permitted by adults. Programs and spaces, they offer a gym, a maker space, which they just make things, computer and podcasting labs, arts and cultural programs, and a strong program with the police department. They have what they call cops and community activities, such as cops and art, cops and chess, cops and cooking, cops and weightlifting. Their model blends township oversight with nonprofit and private organizations that bring specialized programs like drone technology to students, job readiness, and mentoring. Now, I'd like to just highlight a little bit about how this compares to the task force vision. While Franklin Center focuses primarily on youth, Lawrence's proposed model is a multi-generational, serving youth, families, and senior citizens alike. We also emphasize nonprofit-led programming where community partners operate independently and help bring outside funding rather than drawing on additional municipal dollars. Both models share some important values. One is partnership between the township, schools, and community organizations is an important value. I asked the school district liaison and the community municipal liaison how they managed to work together, and they said, we like working together and we do it for the kids. In our case, we do it for the community because ours is a broader vision. Safety and supervision are top priorities. There are technical ways that people can check in and out so they can keep track of everybody who's there and everybody who leaves. And the programs foster learning, recreation, and community connections. Key difference is scope. Franklin Center serves youth. Lawrence's vision serves everyone, youth, adults, and seniors, through collaboration and shared resources. In short, Franklin Township shows how a well-structured, community-integrated facility can thrive. Lawrence has the opportunity to take this idea even further, creating a future community hub that reflects our town's diversity, partnerships, and shared commitment to learning and well-being. I'd just like to thank you over the last several months for the opportunity to share our work with you and to share our observations with you. I'd be happy to take any questions from council, as I do have the report here, so I can actually get into some specifics if you care to. Not seeing any, I will go out.
Well, I just want to thank you because the committee has, presented its final report, and the council owes the public a little bit of information as to where we are in the process. And I do want to share that we have begun discussions with regards to what the process may be going forward in terms of the usage of the building. So I don't want the public to think that we're not taking any actions or having any discussions. But, shortly and, appreciate you extending yourself beyond your responsibility as a member of the task force and taking those extra steps. The center that you visited, I also visited and was very impressed with the work that they're doing, their partnerships that extend throughout the community. And that was an effort that was created by their council member there in Franklin. So I know that there's a true commitment between their recreation department and the community and residents, as well as other organizations that include the school. So that's why I too thought it was a very admirable example of how community recreation and many other organizations work together in one facility for the well-being of both, in their case, mostly the youth in that community. So thank you for taking those extra steps. I know you didn't have to, that was on your own time, and appreciate you coming to share your experience with us and letting council know a little bit about what's out there and things that have worked in other communities. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
May I ask that you get us a copy so that the council can read
A copy of,
your findings?
yes, I could do that
Yes.
I can
Get
have
it
that,
to the clerk so she could just.
very quickly to you. Yes,
Thank you. Happy anniversary.
I'll give it to the clerk. A copy for everybody? 3 copies, okay, I'll get you a day or two.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. 37 years.
Is there anyone else for public participation at this time?
Good evening, honored to be here.
Sign in.
Yes.
Thank
So honored to be here.
Evidently aren't that easy.
Good evening, honorable council. My name is Asma Elvi, and I am an organizer with Resistencia and Action, New Jersey. We serve Mercer County, and we are here to uplift and really follow the lead of the students of the Hutchinson Scholars in Civic Life. So thank you for your wonderful presentation today. And we're here to ask you all to please put on the agenda for the next city council meeting, the ITA resolution. So I help lead Resistencia's rapid response team. We have about 90 trained volunteers. Our team patrols every day and we respond to raids several times a week in Mercer County. We are proud to say we have on numerous occasions successfully stopped ICE's illegal actions by exercising our constitutional rights to observe, to document, and to let people know their rights. We make it known that ICE is in the community when they are. We also know firsthand why local law enforcement should not be collaborating with ICE. Sadly to say, because guidelines of collaboration between ICE and police are not clear, I have been arrested twice by local police for exercising my constitutional rights, including for telling a family their legal rights when ICE was trying to get them out of their home without a judicial warrant. This is why we need very clear guidelines to ensure our police are not engaging in collaboration. And it is why we need the Immigrant Trust Act to be codified in state law versus the Immigrant Rights Directive currently in place, and one that will most likely be removed because our future governor hasn't been clear if she will pass it into law, and if it passes the legislature versus the current governor who will actually sign it into state law if it passes the legislature. So we have seen more times than we can count families ripped from their loved ones, families we then have to tend to. This reveals the true gut-wrenching cost of ICE. Just a week and a half ago, a mother contacted us that while her husband was taking their children to the bus stop, the neighbors informed her that ICE had abducted him. I stand before you today and I ask you to feel the weight of that. Some of you in this committee are parents. And I ask you, and I ask all of us as well, what makes us more deserving of hugging our kids or tucking them into bed tonight than he was? I have seen how emboldened ICE becomes when local police are entangled with these responsible, and they are responsible for that pain. You have the power to make it very clear where Lawrenceville stands. You can choose to be the next county to pass the Immigrant Trust Act resolution, joining 21 other counties, and just yesterday to pass resolutions themselves. We decided to come out today knowing you already passed a wonderful, equitable treatment of all residents resolution in the past. Thank you for that. And we're counting on you to now pass the ITA, just as the awesome students of Hutchinson Scholars in Civic Life are asking. The power to protect every immigrant family in New Jersey lies in the state legislature. And by passing the ITA, you will send a message to legislators, specifically Senator Scutari and Assemblyman Coughlin, to put the statewide Immigrant Trust Act bill on the calendar. So we're appealing you to do that after you pass the act. Our community is watching, our families are depending on you, and the state of New Jersey needs you to choose the path of being there for the community versus being complicit with ICE. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, and for the work that you're doing. I know it's not easy, and also for informing us of what's a little bit of what's happened. Okay. Additional, okay, if you could sign in and then we'll read it.
Thanks. My name is Irfan Kawaja. I live in Princeton, and like Asma, I am a volunteer with Resistencia en Acción. So I'm here to say a few words in defense of Lawrence's passing a municipal resolution in defense of the Immigrant Trust Act. So the ITA is a codification and extension of the Immigrant Trust Directive that has governed law enforcement agencies in the state of New Jersey since 2018. The ITA would give the ITD the force of law and extend some of its provisions to make them stronger. Now, the ITA has been stalled in the state legislature for more than a year now. The point of our request tonight is to have you pass a resolution in favor of the ITA that persuades the legislature to take action by giving them some indication of the popular will on this issue. The passage of a resolution would not create any new legal obligations for Lawrence. There is a powerful need for legislation like the ITA. It has always been a contested issue how federal immigration enforcement relates to local law enforcement. I used to teach criminal justice at the university level at Felician University in North Jersey. So I know that there are lots of hairs to split, but two things are incontestable. One is that the 10th Amendment to the US Constitution demands a distinction between federal and local powers. It makes a distinction and demands that it be preserved. The second is that this distinction is currently in the process of systematic erosion across the entire country. There are many ways of proving this. It would take a long time to go through a lot of them, but the quickest way to prove it to yourself is to go back and read or reread the middle section of the Declaration of Independence. In particular, the Bill of Particulars against the British Crown. If you haven't done that in a while, it is a useful, salutary exercise. I think you will find, to your shock, that literally every complaint listed in the Declaration of Independence is one that could justifiably, and in some cases easily, be made against DHS today. Whatever your views on immigration as a whole, it is time to set some bounds, which is what the ITA does. So I hope you'll join what is quickly becoming a statewide movement and pass a municipal resolution. Some 21 municipalities and 3 counties have signed on, and our hope is that Lawrence will as well. I was in Clifton last night. I will be in West Orange next week, and Montclair after that, and Irvington after that, and Rahway after that, and Woodbridge after that, and wherever, I can't remember, after that. But we are going to continue until we get some traction in the legislature and among municipalities and among counties until we prevail. So I hope that you will join what is becoming, as I've said, a statewide movement. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Schrager. I live in Hamilton Township, but I am the president of Resistencia en Acción, New Jersey. So you would expect that I would be a better speaker than the last two, but I'm not. I would like to say that, well, first of all, I rise to speak in favor of the Immigration Trust Act. I'm very glad that 21 municipalities in New Jersey have already enacted it. It's legislation that limits the involvement of state and local agencies and law enforcement with federal immigration enforcement. We've been struggling to stop local police from collaborating with ICE and terrorizing our immigrant communities since forever. It's like, what, 15, 16 years now. We started out as Unidad Latina en Acción New Jersey in Hightstown, and we since moved to, we're now based in Princeton and Trenton. But we work all over Mercer County to protect the rights of immigrants. Immigration is federal law. Local police should not be involved in immigration action. We want to make sure that all residents, regardless of immigration status, can access essential services like healthcare, education, and legal services, right? And it would also seem that local police involvement with ICE is inimical and antithetical to effective law enforcement. If an immigrant is a victim of a crime, why would that victim go to the local police? Or if the local police need an immigrant to serve as a witness to help solve a crime, why would the immigrant cooperate if they fear deportation, detention, or being removed from their families? So it makes no sense. We need this act to create a new data privacy protections, and to strengthen the separation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities. Okay? And Ozma mentioned that we have 90 volunteers, rapid response volunteers, who go out and respond to stop ICE abuse. ICE comes out with these administrative warrants. An administrative warrant is just the form of a warrant. It's not signed by a judge. It doesn't name a defendant. It is not a legal document. So and if you've seen anything on social media saying, oh, this was during the gubernatorial campaign, ICE really isn't coming around because there's a very close gubernatorial election. Well, that's a bunch of BS, okay? What stopped ICE is our heroic members of the rapid response team. That's why ICE has not been effective in arresting people. It's because of people like Ozma and others who are here, who've protected the immigrant community. They truly are heroes in the struggle. And I would like to leave you with one other thing before I go. In her book, Strong Men, From Mussolini to the Present, Ruth Ben-Gia points out that both Hitler and Mussolini started out by attacking immigrants. So if you care about the struggle against authoritarianism and against fascism, we need to protect immigrants. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jessica DeFalco. I currently live in East Windsor, but I've been a Mercer County resident for 25 years. I've lived in Hamilton and Trenton, East Windsor, back and forth. I was also a member of the Slackwood Volunteer Fire Department's Ladies Auxiliary from 2016 to 2021. I'm a volunteer for Resistencia's Rapid Response Team, focusing on patrolling and rapid response in East Windsor and Hightstown. Also an organizer for NJ 5051, a grassroots protest movement that's been hosting protests at the State House in Trenton this year. I'm here tonight to request that the Lawrence City Council pass an Immigrant Trust Act resolution. Now more than ever, our leaders must act to protect immigrants living in Lawrence. 21 other cities in New Jersey have passed ITA resolutions, including Trenton and Princeton, and we plan to request the same of East Windsor and Hightstown. As government leaders, you have a duty to listen to the community, ease fears, and support protections, not just through verbal support, but through written support. Policy protects people, promises do not. Resolutions are a great way to support laws that we need in our communities. To be clear, this is not just an immigrants bill, it's a civil society bill. Food pantries, schools, courtrooms, and hospitals are no longer exempt from ICE activity. I've seen firsthand ICE kidnap a father in East Windsor after dropping his child off to school while not technically on school property, but in plain view of teachers and K-2 students at Ethel McKnight Elementary School. I recently showed up to a rapid response call on Main Street in Hightstown during morning rush hour to find 8 ICE agents banging on all the doors of a multifamily residence. In East Windsor, ICE has been staking out the Rise Food Pantry and recently drove through the Hightstown High School parking lot during morning arrival time. The ITA has been stalled in the state legislature for years, and this is a chance for Lawrence to set an example and lead the way in Mercer County and New Jersey, and show our state government leaders that the residents and local governments support the passage of this essential legislation. Please remember that this does not only impact undocumented immigrants. U.S. citizens have routinely been detained by ICE simply because of the color of their skin or the language that they speak. Children are being traumatized by seeing these things happen, and families are being torn apart. I'd also like to give the rapid response phone number for Resistencia for Mercer County. It's 640-466-2386. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Phil Duran. I'm I guess a 30-plus year resident of the town. And I don't want to take anything away from our last several speakers. What you're doing is very important. But I want to switch gears just a little bit, as they say in Monty Python, now for something completely different. It's come to my attention over the years that the township has a problem that's been getting worse that I want to highlight, bring to your attention. And that is an issue of communications. So many of the groups in town, whether they're nonprofits or businesses or organizations, are trying to get their message out. And they're having a hard time because there doesn't seem to be any central source, any central location where they can get township information. Yes, we do have the ledger still. It's not what it was. And it's harder to find than it used to be. There are some online sources, but unfortunately, some of them that claim to be township information sources are really no more than an occasional snippet of what's going on in the town, interspersed with political diatribe, misinformation, and sometimes even hate speech. And it makes the township look bad. And my request to the council is simply think about what the township could do to either fund more time for Lee to spend here in town and do the wonderful things she does, or perhaps use her information and many more. We need like 5 leads here in town to cover everything. We just do. Maybe it has to be online, maybe something like Princeton Online, I don't know, but it would be nice to have a central location where people can go for information and to disseminate information about what their organizations are doing, because right now it's hard to know. And I'll be willing to bet that if you stop an average person in town, they won't know who you all are, which they should know. And they won't know what's going on with the police department, whether the crime rate is increasing or decreasing, you know, whether there are bears in that section of town. They don't know. It would be nice to have a central location. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Emery Capola, and I'm a lifelong resident of Lawrence Township. I'm also a proud member of Resistencia. I've, with the exception of 11 years where I was out of state for college and graduate school, I've lived here my whole life. I can say that what I've done with my life has really been much attributed to what the opportunities were provided in this township, from sports to academics to social activities. And I can't really say much to add to what has already been said in terms of the legalities and the ethics of what's happened. But I do want to ask all of you a simple question. Can you differentiate between this image in the audience and this image? Any idea? Well, I've seen both. So I've seen gentlemen like these, or men or gentlemen dressed like this in Trent. This is ICE. Men wearing masks, carrying guns, terrifying the community. And this is in Libya. I was in Libya in 2012, less than 2 months before Ambassador was killed. I know what it's like to know fear because I was the only American that I saw there, Westerner, aside from the special forces guys with the airport that said, see you later, when I went into the country. And I think that what's happening today, I never thought I'd ever see this country, what I saw there, the memories I have, what I saw. I think it's horrific what's happening. I think that our community needs to stand up and make us take a position that says that we do not believe this is acceptable morally, ethically, legally. And I think that, I can only imagine how I've spoken to a number of immigrants who live in fear every day. They're afraid they won't come home to their children, or maybe their children will be taken. And I will add one thing, you know, the Trump administration has said, or has rescinded a binding order that allows ICE to now take people from schools, churches. So I think it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that we do not find this acceptable and support everything that we've been talking about this evening. So I hope you take that into consideration. And I thank you for your time.
Hello, good afternoon, Council. My name is Arlene Flores, and I am a proud Mexican American and an organizer with Resistencia en Acción as well. So every day, I work directly with families whose loved ones have been taken by ICE. I see the fear and devastation that follows when a parent, a spouse, or a sibling is suddenly gone. These are people who are on their way to work that helps keep our community running, and instead, they are abducted in their homes and in front of their families or pulled from their cars without a judicial warrant. When this happens, families are left asking me, why did ICE take them? Why are they doing this to our Latino community? What do we do now? And the truth is, they are left alone to pick up the pieces. The city doesn't step in to help them pay rent, feed their children, or replace the income that was ripped from them because a loved one was detained. It's the community, like organizations like Resistencia and Acción that show up. We help them find lawyers, food, housing, and sometimes even just a shoulder to cry on after a raid that never should have happened in the first place. This is why we're here tonight. The Immigrant Trust Act is about making sure no one in Lawrenceville has to go through the violence of family separation. It's about making sure our local police and officials are never used by ICE to do their work for them. We need you, the elected leaders in Lawrenceville, to take the stand and pass ITA now, just as you passed equitable treatment of all residents resolution in the past. Every day that passes without these protections is another day a family could be torn apart. We cannot wait, our families cannot wait. Lawrenceville has a chance to show that our city values dignity, safety, and trust for everyone who calls it home. Please pass this resolution and make it stronger by asking the legislator to support it in the resolution. Do it for the children who go to bed not knowing if their parents will be home tomorrow. Do it for the workers who serve this city every day but live in fear. Do it because no one's humanity should depend on their immigration status. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? It is really great to be part of this council meeting tonight. I'm Ana Paola Pazmiño. I'm the Executive Director of Resistencia en Acción. And I'm here and I see visibly a lot of people who have been either responding rapidly working as a coalition with other organizations in the fight because we're all brother and sister, and most of all because we are in Mercer County and we want to be the leading protector of our community. What does Resistencia do? You probably have heard already from some of us, but we're here to support families. After many loved ones get picked up, kidnapped, I should say, rapidly from the streets, from their cars, we get the families who are distraught. And they come to us with a lot of questions of how to find their family members, how to raise some funds for legal fees, how to pay their rent. Really, some mothers have been left without their breadwinners, and now they don't even know how they're gonna pay their rent that month. As well as organizing against different injustices that are happening because of the immigrant attacks happening federally and statewide. So we have seen many day laborers abandon the street corners. We have also seen a lot of domestic workers not going to work anymore to clean our homes, to take care of our children because they're scared of being picked up by ICE. Over the years, we have seen this. This is nothing new. However, I think this year it's intensified. It's gotten aggressive. And unfortunately, we're going to see more of this over the next couple of years. So I want to first thank you for actually putting forward and putting this on the agenda so that the community can come and tell you why they want this. As an organization and as a leader, I think it's critical to step forward and ensure that the members of the community, regardless of their immigration status, feel safe in sending their kids to school, in accessing city services without any fear, in doing their daily lives in Lawrence like they should. For years, we have seen that there have been raids, there have been victims of exploitation, but we know that our neighbors are the ones who are going to stand up for us. So this is why we're urgently needing the Immigrant Trust Act as a statewide law. And your act of putting this as a resolution will just affirm to the legislature that it is necessary. Lawrenceville's commitment to safety and dignity urges us to take one step further. We need to pass the ITA resolution here in Lawrence, but we also need to tell the legislators in Trenton that this is necessary. Today we were in Trenton State House and we were also talking about No to IRA, which really censors our freedom of speech. And how are we putting this together? How is this happening? Well, they're gonna censor a lot of things that we could do as immigrant communities as well. And we're gonna be under attack. So we're asking that this resolution pass here in Lawrence, just like it did in Princeton. And we're offering to work alongside of you to make sure that the community needs are being met fully. We believe in co-governance and we want to ensure that this resolution isn't just symbolic, but can make a difference in the community. Thank you for taking this leadership, and we just wanted to be here to be part of this and become a model that you guys can put together and put forth in protecting families who call and who are victims of immigration raids. Thank you, and we would like to work alongside of you.
Hey, council members. My name is Ray Found. I'm a resident in Lawrenceville and also a rapid responder with Resistencia. I just wanted to add my voice and to say again, I hope that the council will pass a resolution for the Immigrant Trust Act and be a leader to push the state along to pass the statewide Immigrant Trust Act. I'm also an elementary school teacher next door in Ewing, and I just want to say the view from inside the school is that once in a while we have police officers come through to just do like a routine round, and I see fear in my immigrant students' eyes, and they will ask like, why is that person here? I want to say when any of us are afraid, but especially for young people when they're afraid, their brains get flooded with cortisol, their amygdala hijacks like any ability to function at a high level, to take in new information, and the body goes into this like fight or flight instinct to help you survive. Because that's what your body needs to do, is just survive that moment. And when our students are in that kind of mode, because there's confusion around who are the police officers, who is immigration, am I in danger right now, they're not able to do what they need to do in a school, which is learn, feel safe, feel connected to the community. I think that is a strong reason that we need a statewide mandate on this, that police officers in New Jersey are never ever working with immigration and custom enforcement, is to make that clear to our young people especially, that you are safe in your schools, and that if you see a police officer there, like you're okay. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a very long address, so thanks for your patience. My name is Carolyn McGrath, and I'm also a rapid responder with Resistencia, a proud rapid responder. Okay, thank you. And I wanted to share a perspective, a little bit of a historic perspective. So I wanted to share a quote with you. Terrible things are happening outside, and at any time of night and day, poor helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are torn apart. Men, women, and children are separated. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. And those words were written in 1943 by Anne Frank. And I don't mean to diminish the horrors of the Holocaust by drawing too equal a parallel, but I think that what she described very closely mirrors what we in Resistance here are seeing today. What we're seeing in New Jersey as well as across the country. ICE agents are showing up, as people have said, at homes, schools, workplaces, and ripping people away from their families, friends, and communities. As part of the rapid response team, we see this up close. As Arlene has said, we see families that are shattered, children that are traumatized, as Ray was talking about, and whole communities living in fear, people afraid to leave their homes. It's quite devastating. The vast majority of people that are targeted by ICE have no criminal record. They're the caretakers, the neighbors, and the family members that others rely on. Excuse me. They're the workers who keep our towns running. And when we do patrols for rapid response. I'm overwhelmed by the number of people who are just up at 5:36 in the morning, like waiting on the corner to start work. It's quite remarkable, and yet those same people are being targeted. ICE treats immigrants as threats. They're using increasingly aggressive tactics. We've seen them use weapons, we've seen them use chokeholds, that spread terror and mistrust in immigrant communities and communities in general. I want to thank this council for the work that you've already done to make Lawrence Township a welcoming place for everyone. But we also would love for you to take one step further by passing a resolution in support of the Immigrant Trust Act. Doing so would not only protect our immigrant neighbors here in Lawrence and local neighboring towns, but it would help build the statewide momentum that's needed to pass this legislation in New Jersey. And as the federal government continues to ramp up its inhumane deportation agenda, we need local leaders like yourselves to show courage and compassion. And I ask you to please pass the ITA resolution today. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, my name is Carlos Hendricks, and I'm a lifelong Lawrence resident, and I'm here today in support of the Immigrant Trust Act being passed as a resolution by the Lawrence Township Council. I know that we're living right now in very difficult times. It's hard to tell if you're not an immigrant being attacked on a daily basis, worried about whether you're going to make it from home to work, from home to school, even if you have to take a ride to the hospital, you don't know if you're going to make it in a life and death situation. I'm here today also as a member of the statewide Land Latino Action Network in the local chapter of the Mercer County Latino Action Network. I would like to just address the council in terms of encourage you to support this resolution, because what we know here in Lawrence has always been to do the right thing, to come together when times are difficult, when times are in need of somebody to pick up those that are not in the same shape or in the same place that we are. This is an issue that we can see on a daily basis that's impacting people all around the country. And here in Lawrence, I have to say, as a lifelong resident, our demographics have changed in my lifetime, and I've been able to see them. And we have an opportunity here to really take an approach, a brave approach to deal with the situation that's in our hands, which is to jump on the same bandwagon, right, of protection for those that are in need. We are not only in a group of a town that has lived, we live a good life, but this is an opportunity for us to also hold hands with those that need us. The point of writing this resolution, okay, which is, has been done in other townships and other cities around the state, is to coalesce. So coalesce with those other entities, those other township cities that are pushing for this to be pushed at the state level. And I can see no more important role right now. If all you have to do is turn on the TV on a daily basis to see how people are being attacked, people are being disrespected. And every citizen of this country, every non-citizen, anybody that lives in this country should be protected. That is really what the country's, democratic values, are really pushing for on a regular basis. I also like to say that, in this particular time, we, cannot play. We cannot, postpone with these critical, decisions because we are, the ones that have the opportunity to come up here like I am to speak freely. And that's something that's being denied, okay? People are being attacked, people are being, condemned, and for no reason at all. It's not just because of illegality, it's because of the interest in demeaning individuals, okay? We are a country of immigrants, and we are a country of opportunity. And we have to put our words, we have to put our laws and our mouth where, where they belong, which is really in the fair part of protecting every citizen in Lawrence Township. I thank the town council because you took the bravery to bring us to the table and to put it on the agenda, and I admire that, and also respect that. But the most important thing is to put action into your words, to put action into your intentions. And we will continue to fight and continue to advocate for those that are less fortunate, for those that are being under attack. And so we hope and we pray that you do the same. So thank you. And this is an opportunity for you to show your better. Thank you and for all you do.
Good evening, Council. Thank you so much for putting the ITA on your agenda. I was really excited for this because I live in Lawrence Township and I've been working with Resistencia en Acción. Sorry, what was that? Oh, my name. Oh, sorry. My name is Farah Naz Jameen. Do I have to say my address? Okay. So, yeah, no, it just made me really excited to be here meeting you all because I heard that the mayor is actually proud of the work that we do. And we would love to really work alongside you guys and create like a safety plan even beyond the ITA, just to make sure that families are actually feeling safe and protected. A lot of our residents in Lawrence Township are immigrants. I mean, right around the corner from me is the European Bakery, white immigrants as well. Although right now we know that times are very dark and, there's a lot of racism, racial profiling that's happening, but we all are immigrants of some kind. I mean, no one's just native to this land except the Native Americans. So I just think that it's really crucial at this point. Having your support, having your willingness. I know you've heard it all at this point. Everyone's been saying the same stuff over and over. But it just really means a lot that you guys are just willing to hear us and want to see the work that we do. I mean, I've been working with a team of people that are trying to provide resources and support for a mother of 4 children right now whose husband was just taken. And she can't afford to pay rent on her own. She can't afford to take care of the kids on her own. So some of my, my comrades that I work with closely are doing things like helping her do her laundry, dropping off food for her, making sure that her kids are going to their doctor appointments, dentist appointments, all kinds of various things.
that you and we do on a day-to-day basis, but we don't have to think about the fear of being stopped or abducted or suddenly separated from our loved ones. And seeing people go through that, it's just, I can't really describe it to you. It's this type of vulnerability that I can't even relate to, even though I am an immigrant myself, but I have the privilege of being a citizen. So not everyone has that chance. And just because of that status, we really can't lose our humanity. We can't see people as less deserving because they don't have this piece of paper. I really hope that you all share those sentiments. I trust that you all share those sentiments. I trust that you reflect the population of Lawrence Township, which is, again, increasingly immigrant population. There's so many different, even in my neighborhood alone, right now, times are really tough. EBT is getting cut off apparently. Some of my neighbors have actually started getting together and organizing. Not even politically, well, it is political work, but they may not even see it that way because we're just supporting our community. That's really the point here. So I hope that you all get to know us better as people, as individuals, and get to work with us. Because really what we want is just safe, healthy communities. And I just really hope to get to know you all on a better, deeper level. I trust that you will pass the ITA resolution, and I'd like to see where it goes after that. I think that's really all I have for now. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mara Jani. I am standing here as an educator first. I'm also a researcher at Princeton University. I live in West Windsor. I'm also a board member of the organization Resistencia en Acción. Many of our members are here tonight. I chose to speak, and I promise to be brief, just to share with you an experience I had a couple of weeks ago. I am a member of the rapid response team. I normally don't answer the operator hotline, but I had to one morning as a backup operator. I picked up the phone to the sobs of a young woman, desperate, asking me, telling me first that immigration is outside. She didn't have to tell me for too long because I could hear the pounding fists that sent a chill in my bones as I heard through the phone them pounding on her doorstep while she's sobbing, at the same time trying to stay quiet so that they don't hear that someone's in the house, begging me to come over, pleading with me, asking me what they want. Do I know what they want? Are they looking for her? Are they looking for someone in her house? She's certain they're not looking for her. Maybe she should just open the door and tell them the person you're looking for does not live here. I stayed with her on the phone. Of course, myself panicked and distressed. As I'm telling the story right now, I feel some of that. It shook me to my core to have to, I ended up checking my call log. What was only a 6-minute call felt like 30 minutes. Of being on the phone with this young woman, reminding her to stay calm, telling her that it is her right to not open the door. It is her right to not have to respond to anyone who comes to her door unless they manage to communicate that they have a judicial warrant. I stayed with her on the phone until I monitored our team's chat to know that some of the members of our team had shown up right outside of her door, shouted the ICE agents out of the neighborhood. Then I heard a silence. The pounding had stopped. And she asked me, are they gone? And I said, let me double check. I checked with my team members and they said, yes, all 4 cars, all 8 agents have left. This happened in East Windsor. This is not an isolated case. It has happened over and over throughout Mercer County. I'm standing here to tell you and to ask you, as my comrades have before me, to help us keep our communities safe. We know you share our values about this issue. There's no question. And that is why we're here to ask you to use your legislative powers to push forth the ITA resolution so that this can become a statewide initiative that then turns into law and has tangible impact on the lives of our neighbors. We are on the streets, educating, patrolling the streets, keeping our neighbors safe with the powers that we have in our own capacity. We're looking to collaborate with councils of different towns within our Mercer County to make sure that no one else has to make a terrifying call like that. No one else should have to, once I showed up to the house, they asked me, will they come back? I don't know, I said. Should we open the door and tell them, perhaps they were looking for our neighbors? You know, he moved away. I don't think that that's the safe thing to do, was my response. And so, should we move away for 2 weeks? I got all of these questions. People's lives, and I mean, so many have talked about individuals who are abducted, families that are torn apart, but it's not just that's what's happening. These operations that have been happening are terrorizing our neighbors. No one should have to live in that kind of fear. So again, I implore you, esteemed council persons, to please work with us, using the powers that you have to push forward the ITA resolution. Thank you.
All right, can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for including the education about the Immigrant Trust Act on your agenda tonight. My name is Richard. I am a proud immigrant from Ecuador. I grew up undocumented for about 24 years, so I know the fear of having a suspicious police-looking car behind you and thinking this could be the last day with my family, with my parents, with my brother. I am an organizer with Resistencia en Acción as well, along with my colleague Esma. We lead rapid response, where we work every day, not just with the responders that are here, as you guys can see, they don't just go out there and have to face ICE, but they're here for their community, they care about what we do, and they just don't show up when they need to. They're all volunteers, and we work every day also, as my colleague Arlene, we deal with the families across Mercer County who just want to live with others here. So I know exactly what it is to live that way. We learned that the Lawrenceville was considered an IET resolution, even though you have a equitable treatment for all residents resolution. We felt real hope. We know that this council has shown leadership before by passing this resolution in support of immigrants, and we trust that you will do so again by passing the Immigrant Trust Act resolution without a delay. Each day, our team meets parents who hesitate when seeing the police, when they witness violence or harassment, because they're just afraid. They're just simply afraid to make that call that could lead to deportation. We met young people who translate for their parents at every appointment at their check-in, worried that one wrong move could tear their family apart. Passing this resolution is about restoring that trust, is about saying clearly our local government protects all residents. So we ask that this resolution include a strong language urging our state legislators to pass the Immigrant Trust Act statewide. And what starts here in Lawrenceville can echo across New Jersey, and your vote can help that make happen. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. I don't think I can possibly add anything more eloquent to what my colleagues have already said to you tonight. So I won't try, but the one thing I would like to request is that you consider, given what you've heard and given your own commitment, which seems substantial, to vote tonight, if you possibly would consider that. Thank you for considering it.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Healy, and I am a resident of Monmouth County, New Jersey. And Monmouth County is known for being a red county. And if you are able to do this, to pass the Immigrant Trust Act here, that's a bold step, and it helps my community. I wouldn't want to have an opportunity like this not be taken, because the idea that any human being should have to be afraid when they've done nothing wrong makes for a terrible community. And I hope that you will do this in order to make this a safer, better place for people in this part of the state. And then hopefully people will follow suit in my part of the state. Thank you so much.
Okay, seeing no additional, is there any additional participation? I will close our 5-minute public participation at this time. I do just want to make a brief statement. I know that this topic makes a lot of people, I'm sure, in our community uncomfortable. And it should. And we're here as a council to listen to the public. We need to hear this. And it makes people uncomfortable, but it's the truth, and we need to hear it, and we need to discuss it among ourselves and take into consideration what our actions will be as a township. There were several residents from our town here tonight who were actively doing this work. And so we should not think that it's not in our community, that people in our community are not being affected by this. So I urge all of us to, we've listened, we've heard you, the work that you're doing, which is brave work, important work, and, we will discuss it and take it, among ourselves. But thank you for your bravery. Thank you for bringing your stories to our attention. And again, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Captain.
Now we will have, we're going to continue with our agenda, and I believe we do have some revisions to the agenda this evening.
Just
one. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could bring that.
yes, we're gonna add 18H11 because I'm assuming we have no closed session, right, tonight?
Oh, we have a closed session.
We need a closed session.
So we'll make that 18H11. and it's just authorizing the public auction by Director of Public Works, just auctioning off some items.
Now I can say, one of the things we're auctioning off, in the auction this evening, in the auction will be the pews that once were in this room. So if anyone has a deep desire to have a historical takeaway from the council's room, we are auctioning off those pews. I had my eye on one, so you better hurry.
So that's done.
Done, okay. All right. They're historic. How old are those pews? Probably more than 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Did I just lighten it up a little bit?
so anyone want to move that?
We need a motion.
Okay, we need a motion and a second. Yes.
I motion for the revision to add 18H11, which will be auctioning off some items. Second.
We have a second with Councilwoman Sanchez.
Mr. Kaneki?
With a revision to the agenda, we're voting. Yes?
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. And we have the adoption of minutes from previous meetings. There are no minutes at this time, okay? And then we move on into the awarding and or rejection of bids.
Madam Mayor, I would like to present 9A and 9B. Is there any?
Is there any vote? Okay, and then. Okay, second, is there any explanation? Yeah, we have to have,
Just do a motion for 9A.
one at a time, into the record.
Okay, sorry. Motion for, excuse me, I'd like to read into Session 9A, number 340, authorizing award of bid 25-16, RJN Landscape and Design for snow plowing services for the period of November 1st, 2025 through April 1st, 2026, and we hope you don't have to use them. Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
So,
I'm sorry, discussion.
this is just, we, in addition to our own public works staff, we do have the need to have this additional plowing service available to us should the need arise.
Okay.
Mr. Kaneki? Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to present 9B, number 341, authorizing award of bid number 25-15, 2023 NJ DOT Trust Fund Improvements to Tiffany Woods to Mecco Inc. Second.
Yes, explanation.
So this is with regard to mill and overlay work at Tiffany Woods, funded by the 2023 New Jersey DOT Trust Fund.
Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Now we should open
It
this up.
is for participation. Are there any comments from the public on this item or the previous item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes.
There are no introduction of ordinances for first reading, which is number 10.
We will go into the adoption of the ordinance. This is listed here. Would you like to read that, please?
11A, ordinance number 2501-25, an ordinance to vacate, release, and extinguish any and all dedication of public rights in or to certain portions of Harrison Avenue adjacent to Block 302, Lot 2, in Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey. Second. Any comments from the public?
This is the opportunity for public comment on this subject.
So Mayor, I just would like to.
Give an explanation?
A little explanation.
Yes, thank you.
So this is, there are paper streets throughout our township. And they are defined as streets or roads that appear on an official map, subdivision plat, or deed, but were never actually built or open to public use and are deemed no longer necessary. Under New Jersey law, a local government may vacate unused paper streets by ordinance, reverting ownership often to the abutting property owners under NJSA 4067-19. We've done this in the past. Interestingly enough, I think this particular area was a part of the original owner of Harney's Corner and was taken, it was a public taking for the use of the street, but the street was never, it was never done. So this is something that actually would be returned to the new property owner adjoining.
So it was just there but not being used?
Yeah, it's, there are streets that have become part of the master plan, but if there is never a need or a purpose for them, they are just remain as paper streets until action is taken.
Kathleen Norsha, 35 Davidson Avenue. I'm here to urge council to please adopt this ordinance. Mr. Rose has been a wonderful neighbor. He has improved the property that was once a dilapidated building. It was an auto body park, an auto body shop before that, but the building was very run down. Mr. Rose has improved that corner and made it an actual showplace as you go through Harney's Corner. And I would ask you to please pass it. He's been very good. He's kept his property spotless. And I think it would do him a service and the township a service to pass the ordinance. And I thank you.
Excuse me, sorry. Good evening, Council. Eric Blady. I know I've reached out to the administration and council about this ordinance a couple times, just about some of my concerns with regards to both the possibility of this being used as a circulation element and also environmental concerns with wetlands and existence on the property. And so while ideally I would appreciate it if you guys would vote no, an alternative that I think that has the potential to make everybody happy, including, the property owner, potential future property owner, and even residents who came out and spoke in favor of it, is if you would just seek the input of our environmental committees. There is the possible existence of wetlands on the property that should be at least known before handing it off. That would actually be good even for a potential future property owner. And I have a lot of information and data that I would like to discuss with each of you individually, and potentially, if you were to say even just table it to a date certain so that the environmental committees could weigh in. I would love to meet with all of you individually, show you kind of what my findings were and how this could kind of fit into a larger walkability plan for South Lawrence. We know the proximity that this property has to Project Freedom, Colonial Lake, so on and so forth. And so if voting no is maybe not the most palatable, at the bare minimum, I think maybe a little more due diligence could be done so that everyone's informed, and then, whatever decision is made, the most research was done in sort of the pursuit of processing good government.
Kathleen Norsha, 35 Davidson Avenue. I just want to respond to the walkability. The walkability in that area is through and across my property. The township should also be concerned because they have to walk through, across, and over the culvert. The traffic has increased phenomenally in the past year or so. The people are walking across my property to go from Brunswick Avenue over to Princeton Avenue. And I am quite concerned at this point about someone being injured and facing a lawsuit. And if someone gets injured on the township's culvert that's there, the township is also facing a lawsuit. Thank you.
I saw you on my property the other day.
I vote the public.
No, it is not. It was my property.
Okay, we will not have any, argument from the
So
audience, please,
I'm
respect.
David Mazeko, and I just want to first quickly remark about the makeover of this room. It's much warmer and more inviting than before, and I think appreciation should be expressed to Manager Levitsky for making that happen. So anyway, at last night's Trails and Open Space Committee, this resolution, this ordinance came up for discussion, and we reached the consensus that we were in opposition to adoption of the ordinance as written. The main factors, Trails and Open Space Committee, so for in regards to open space, the land abuts the Slackwood Park. I always have to think which park I'm talking about. So it's the Slackwood Park, and also there is between Harrison Avenue, a bit of a paper street, and then the lot, this is block 302, lot 1. There is a public right-of-way there, and I hear the concern about people wandering off that and trespassing, and so that is a very serious concern. So if this were retained as a public property, then perhaps the township should look into that and make sure people are staying on public property and not infringing on anyone's private property. So Eric Police suggested that this be tabled for further consideration. Actually sounds good to me. If if you did want to look at that. It also occurred to me, and this was not discussed in the Trails and Open Space Committee, but it has occurred to me that the initial offer of the lot or the portion of the lot was to both neighboring property owners. And the property owner, so Carly's Corner Auto Body was interested. The other property owner to the north was not interested, or at least did not respond. So instead of giving that whole portion to Harney's Corner Auto Body, if half of it were given to him, as though the other owner were interested, and the township retained ownership for that half, then that would, I think that would be a good compromise. Thank you.
The area in question for this.
Say your name once again, just.
Kathleen Norsham, 35 Davison Avenue. It is not that entire section that he's buying. The section that you walked through my property and then walked around, you were on my property.
Okay, Kathy,
Because that halfway is.
Ms. Morsha, please direct to council.
Well, someone was trespassing on my property. And I just wanted to make it clear to council, it is not that entire circle that Mr. Rose is purchasing. It's only a portion of it. So it does not abut the Slackwood School park area.
I do want to clarify, Mr. Rose is not purchasing this property. This property is, it's a road, it's not open space. It's a paper street, as we've identified, and the process involves vacating it and transferring it to the adjoining property. And we went through the entire process. The property owner on the other side, I believe, is deceased, but it's also, that land has thousands and thousands of dollars in liens on property tax. It's basically been abandoned. And we did not expect to receive a response, but we sent certified mailings where we were supposed to with regard to that. So it's not selling. It's the process involves vacating a paper street, and then it goes to the adjoining property owner who paid for the surveying that was required to be done out of his own pocket, because that's our policy with regard to these generated requests from adjoining property owners. So I wanted the record to be clear with regard to that, and there was a comment about potential wetlands on this property, and our township engineers believe that it's probably impacted in some way by wetlands, but there's no wetlands delineation study that's been done. The township and taxpayer money would not go to that type of study for this process. Should this land be the subject of a later development application, which I don't even know if that's relevant to this thing, but if that's the case, then that application by that property owner would require all stuff that's required from the DEP and everything else as it relates to a planning board application.
Manager Nowinski, can you clarify right now, there is nothing on that land? When you say vacate, there's nothing there, correct?
There's nothing.
Empty lot. And,
Well, I mean, it's, if you drive by it, you see.
There's bushes and.
Right, yeah, right.
I remember. But, but there is no, like township property that needs to be vacated. When you say vacate, I'm thinking something has to be removed from it. We're just transferring it to.
It is township property, but there is some, yeah.
The master plan as a potential roadway that was deemed not required, and our township engineer, as a part of their process, makes a determination whether or not it would ever be needed in the future based upon its positioning as it relates to Harney's Corner. It's not anything that is relevant to a future use as a street.
And there was mention that there's a culvert, I had to look it up, Google culvert, which is a structure that channels water past an obstacle such as a road or a railway, or directly directs it to a subterranean waterway. So there's water there, right? Isn't there a creek?
What it is, I'll answer that. That's the property of where I live, Society Hill. We have a cul-de-sac back there. It retains the water when we flood. So when our water level gets high, it does go through, and it goes past Kathy's house till Harney's Corner, okay? But it's controlled. It ain't like if our streets are flooded. My area floods, all right? It comes up to our sidewalks, some other people's back porches, all right? But it will not flood that area. The pipe going out is only a 6-inch pipe, and then it gets reduced. So it's not a big pipe, it's not a big flow that's going through here. It is controlled. And it comes from Society Hill retention pond. And it's only when it floods. All right, when we had heavy rains the other day, that for a short time, our retention pond got 2 feet deep.
You need to address your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If you're looking at it, exactly, that's it.
Right, that's on the.
Yes.
And just to restate what you said, Manager Nowinski, if the property owner comes later and wants to develop, they have to go through all the processes that need to give them permission to do so anyway.
Absolutely.
Mayor, if I may, just so we're clear, this is not just unique to the Township of Lawrence. We're following the state statute here. And it's very specific as to procedures and operations to do the vacation of paper street. I've had opportunity to review the documents, opportunity to review all the pertinent maps, surveys, etc. And the procedural aspects of this have been completely met by the township. There is no other, no other statutory or administrative code procedure that has to be followed for the township to vacate a paper street. This is done, I'm not gonna say every day, but this is done many, many times across many municipalities across the state of New Jersey every year. It was put in, I can't remember the year, but many years ago. The street was never built. It really serves no legal purpose, and the vacation of it is I just call it a routine legal procedure that many municipalities follow on a whatever annual or whatever basis that they review things. And the process of offering it to the adjacent property owners is statutory. And this is exactly what we have done. We mean the township, and there is no other committee or no other governmental unit that has to approve this.
And if you don't mind, I just want to put, since this is the public hearing part, the process to determine and put it to you for a vote is a process where you go through and evaluate reasons that support vacating, right? And so for this particular situation, it's a small area that was never accepted for public use and therefore has never served and will never serve a public transportation function. The township has no present or future need for the right-of-way. The paper street serves no other public purpose. The long-term non-use establishes a lack of public necessity, eliminates municipal liability concerns due to its use as a cut-through area leading to the disturbance of nearby residents and public safety issues. Maintenance and administrative concerns would be eliminated and the area would be maintained and improved consistent with the adjoining property, as demonstrated by the drastic improvements done by the new property owner of Barney's Corner Auto Body Shop. It also increases property tax revenue. It returns a portion of land to the tax rolls, although it's not going to be significant. But, and nearby residents, in particular, a resident that is very close by, supports the street being vacated to eliminate her concerns about her own public safety with people cutting through. And finally, there will be no negative impact on emergency response since it has never been used as a street or a means of transportation for emergency services. So all that consideration happens before it gets to this point. We're at a second reading of an ordinance. And I'll just finally say there is the objection from the Open Space Committee. This is not open space. This does not adjoin open space owned by the township. This is not a situation that we would submit to an Open Space Committee. In my view, I mean, your decision, you are the 5 elected officials that the community says you are entrusted to make these decisions. And you have all of the information. So we've been through the introduction. We are now at the second reading. Any adjournment of this would risk it having to be done all over again, because I believe we've confirmed that it's a 60 days that it has to be from introduction to being passed. So we would probably, if we're submitting this to the Open Space, we've already heard what their opinion is with regard to this. So I simply will just say, this is why you guys get paid the big bucks to make these decisions.
Correction.
Yeah. Big bucks.
Correction.
I just have 2 simple questions. Remind me how this originally came to your attention to move forward with.
As it normally does, an adjoining property owner expresses interest.
and he expressed interest?
Yes.
Okay. And, why would it not be a sale versus just a transfer?
Because it's a matter of policy and we wouldn't do that.
Thank you for clarifying.
And Mr. Nowinski, I think this has been asked before, but I don't remember the answer. How large is this property?
I believe it's at 50 feet by 100 feet. Yeah, there's a map that's attached.
Yeah.
What's the size of, what a street is it?
Do you not have the map?
I've never had.
You may not have it, but I have.
Okay, that's fine. That, the 50 feet by 100 feet is.
It's small though.
Yeah.
I have to warn you. Yeah, I did originally have, the township engineer get it to me, I will say later. It's just
Well, there are a couple of things, if I may. I'm the liaison for the Trails and Open Space Committee on council, and there was a robust discussion last evening with regards to this matter. And I would not be a responsible liaison if I did not share, information, part of the discussion. I know, the chair of that committee has spoken, but I know there was also a letter written, and there were just some questions, also that I had in terms of, in normal circumstances or in other circumstances. I know Trails and Open Space, they're interested in this obviously because of trails in the township. And are there times where, I know there are some committees when things like this come up, they're run by different committees, like, the Greenway, which is, well, that was a previous committee, but if it has to do with trees or things of that nature, I know the planning board, there are reports that are often shared with committees so that they can give some input if there are any concerns with regards to actions that the council is taking. And so in that meeting, and I know that we're at the meeting where we are now, there was a significant concern with regards to wetlands or nearby trails that could potentially be a part of this, and also the proximity to the school and whether or not that land in the park, how it impacted that area. And also, longer term access, yes, with trails and things of that nature was something that members in that community were interested in discussing. So I did receive a letter, and make sure that this is the right letter, that I said I would read, so at least council would hear from what the committee, where they were coming from with regards to their concerns. Make sure I'm writing to convey a request from our committee, which met last night regarding your review of the Lawrence Shopping Center tractor supply. Is that the right letter? No, wrong letter. There's another one, I think I missed it. Well, it was, because the Trails and Open, I could speak it, the Trails and Open Space Committee, we're charged with looking at the big picture in Lawrence Township, and we're always looking to connect, trails that, and areas in our township that, could benefit residents. So the concern or the discussion was around the connection between the park that is there next to the school, whether or not there was a consideration about the usage for the school in that area, because it's township property. And it's a beautiful, area with trees and space, and there was a.
Do you know if it's adjacent to the school? Like so it's a street,
Mm-hmm.
you got Harney, the owner of Harney's Corner on one side, and then you got the property owned by an individual that's now in tax lien status.
Right.
So I'm not sure.
But isn't it
I'm not
close to
sure,
the,
it's not municipal property, so what is?
is it close
what
to
is adjoining
Slackwood
the park?
School? The park?
It's close to the
Yeah,
school, but there's private property that.
It's like a triangle,
that
something
abuts
like that.
both sides of it.
Yeah,
So-
there's a small portion. I think the committee was interested, I'm just relaying. I would be wrong if I didn't relay.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
And you can, correct me, yes, as we go along, absolutely. But the overall interest was that, and there was talk if there are wetlands there, like whether there would be any future development, probably not a possibility. But also, if that space could be used, in a larger vision for a trail that would give access from Princeton Pike to Brunswick, maybe not, but I'm just saying, this is what was discussed, and this is why there is interest and conversation, and I'm, as a liaison, it's my job to relay to council what I hear from the residents who serve on these committees. So, that was one of the options, the discussions that came about, and then looking at other areas in that particular part of South Lawrence. Because there is a belief, perhaps by some, that part of town does not get enough of the green and open space opportunities as maybe some other parts of town. So that's just what I'm relaying. That is an area that is underrepresented by more green space. And that's what I just want my fellow council members to understand, that this was the discussion that occurred in the Trails and Open Space Committee, and that they also were speaking with another committee, and that's why they wanted to pause if that was a possibility. What we do here, like you said, there are 5 of us on this council, and we make the decision, so we go with whatever the vote is. But I would be remiss if I did not share and make council aware of the concerns of the committee and what I heard from some residents.
Question, is the public comment closed for this?
Now, you can still comment.
Is it open still?
Come on.
Ken Kieran, 29 Gatesboro Road. So this red herring going through from this committee about a piece of land that does not abut the school, there is land between, there is no access to the playground area in the back, that comes off of Parr Avenue. This land has been empty since I've lived here for 35 years, and now it's an issue that we want to make it a green space of somewhere in between a dead-end street and Princeton Pike. It's just that, a red herring. The gentleman does not want to build on this, so he wants to extend and take care of the property. That was rightfully the property of the original owner before the township made it a paper street. Thank you.
Sylvia Colas. I understand there's a state law that allows for the townships to hand over paper streets. What concerns me is, as we all know, that area heading towards Captain Falls and all that area floods a lot. My concern with that lot would be whether or not the new if the new owner acquires it, if he wants to pave it, if he wants to pave over it, will there be a requirement for a permit? There is a belief he doesn't want to build on it, but do we know for sure what he wants to do with it? Just because he took care of an already existing building and all of that, we don't know really what's going to happen to that lot. We have assumptions. So having a culvert there that drains another community in that area, protecting that area from flooding, do we know whether or not that's not going to be clogged by additional trash from that property? Those are my concerns. with wetlands and with the fact that that's an area that's supposed to flood to protect other areas from flooding. If that's not correct, Mr. Konaki, because that's what I understood what you said.
His area floods, that area doesn't flood.
But isn't that the
We're all
culvert?
Respectfully, we're all going into what if scenarios.
Yeah,
And as the manager mentioned, in order for that gentleman or whoever the new property owner is to do anything, he's gotta come back and get approval. So that is the protection that we have. But at this point, that is what, gravel, correct? It's mostly gravel. It's a paper street that has not been used, okay? But the protection that we have is whatever he wants to do, he has to come back and get permission.
even for pavement.
Yes.
Yes?
If I may,
No, I'm just asking you a question.
I'm answering the question. The granting of the, or the passing of the ordinance with regard to vacating the paper street does not give any special rights to the individual, to the owner. He or the LLC, whatever it is, would have to come back to our land use boards, zoning, planning, whatever, just like anybody else, and go through the entire process, engineering, all the necessary approvals would have to be given for paving or anything to do with that. So there's, by this, if this council were to approve this ordinance, it does not give any special rights whatsoever to do anything on that land.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanna make one comment. I agree with protecting the environment. I was silly enough, and Kevin will laugh at this story. There was a turtle on the middle of the road backed by FedEx, okay? I battled trucks and everything else until somebody moved that turtle. So I'm a environmentalist.
I hope it wasn't a snap.
It was a snapdragon, which I didn't know, which would have bit off my hand. So we want to protect this beautiful township. But at this point, may I call for a vote? One second.
I want to add one more important thing, just that is an additional layer of scrutiny.
Can we have the mic on?
Is your mic
Mr.
on?
Nowinski?
Oh,
Thank you.
How about that, can you hear me?
No.
Okay, so this, most of South Lawrence and into Trenton is an overburdened community under the New Jersey Environmental Justice Law. And any development within a designated area, the application would be subject to additional environmental review, community notification, and public participation requirements to ensure that new impacts are not added to communities that are already disproportionately burdened. So there's not only that layer of planning board, there is additional review protection.
We going first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard what the manager said about the 60 days starting the clock again and everything. And I emailed about this prior to the previous meeting and didn't get a response. And I emailed again, I got a response from the manager. And I had to email again, and finally I got, to the mayor's credit, a call from her and I was able to discuss it with her. My only request is to be able to sit with members of council to discuss matters of policy. And this is a matter of policy, whether or not you have a piece of a parcel that is under township control and whether it's utilized for X, Y, Z, what have you. And a lot of the reasons that I've come up here at these meetings has to do with both the environment and with process. And I've tried a lot of different ways to approach that so that there's at least the opportunity to have these conversations, provide good information, because at its core, these are policy decisions, right? Like, there's a green space here, we could do X, Y, and Z with it. Oh, maybe we didn't consider that. Maybe we didn't actually seek the input that we need from the community. And so what frustrates me is, how am I supposed to be doing this? So that there's ample time for you guys to directly engage with residents on matters of concern. Because the vast majority of the reason I come up here has to do with green spaces in South Lawrence, has to do with walkability in South Lawrence. The neighborhood I live in has a lot of new residents coming in, and it's vibrant, it's great. There's families, I hear kids running around all day at all hours. It's great, but you know, there are so few green spaces and places to walk. And those places have dwindled. And I've seen that end of town go from, you know, the Trent Motel and an abandoned factory to now there's, you know, that housing there and the CVS, and that's good. So we were going one way, but now the traffic conditions have deteriorated. We were supposed to have a task force about that, it didn't happen. Just walkability and green spaces just seem to have gotten forgotten. And it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's here, it's there, and I'm just looking for the opportunity whenever these issues arise to directly engage with you guys, show you whatever research maps on based off whatever issue it is. This just happens to be one of many. And if you have an opportunity here where, you know, smart planning talks about things like desire paths, where if there's people traffic going through there, then clearly there's a walkability element there that needs to be looked at. Because ever since the improvements along Route 1 have been made, more people are walking than were when I was a kid. And that's great. That's less cars, that's economic activity, because when people walk around, they go to a coffee shop, they go to a diner, they get ice cream after. You know, when you look at that whole area, I mean, you're talking about people being able to walk down, like I said, from Project Freedom, you got USA Mr. Ice Cream down there. And even though it's a small piece of land, there's an opportunity, and it can always this can always happen later on. And so I'm just trying to understand as a resident who has worked in local government for 15 years, like there is like a savviness here, I understand, but I'm trying to figure out how can the process just be so that people are able to, you know, voice and explain. It's not about getting one way or another, which is why I suggest, you know, the potential of putting it off so that you can seek input from other people. If in the end you come back and you're like, no, this is what we're gonna do. I mean, that's y'all. That's why you're up here, you know. But I just don't see the issue with getting more input from the community, from people who volunteer their time on these committees and care deeply about our green spaces. And you know, I didn't want to come up here and pontificate on the particulars with like the uptick in wildlife incidences, especially with roadkill and everything, because I felt it was too much for this, and you know, one-on-one conversations would be better and more substantial. And so I'm just trying to understand how we're supposed to be doing this as residents who are really concerned about green spaces in our town. That's all. Thank you.
Kathleen Norship, 35 Davison Avenue. The subject of trash came up. Mr. Rose keeps his property spotless. I can't tell you the number of broken liquor bottles, beer bottles, crushed beer cans, crushed soda cans, plastic bottles that are thrown constantly onto my property of the people that are walking through my property. And to go a little farther, and maybe it won't be appreciated, but the used condoms that I have seen. Mr. Rose will make that piece of property into something that will enhance his property and will enhance the area at Harney's Corner. I really urge you, please pass this ordinance. Thank you.
Anyone else, ma'am?
Okay. We're going to close now this public participation unless there's any other member of the public that would like to comment at this time.
Mr. Galiti, we appreciate you coming and giving us your observations and informing us of things that we may not have known. And you're doing the right process. But in this particular case, it is not a open space area per se. But again, we were elected to make the right decisions for the township. And we're not perfect, but just continue to reach out and do what you're doing because the township does appreciate that.
Could have called me. Could have called me. You
Okay, do we have a motion on the floor? I need a motion.
No.
You already have the motion? Oh, okay, sorry.
We just need to.
Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
No. Okay,
Motion carries.
now for the manager's report.
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. And for the attorney's report.
Briefly, as you're well aware, Mayor and Council, we had a closed session immediately prior to the open public meeting, at which time the Mayor and Council interviewed an individual for a open position here at the township, specifically the CFO position. We cannot reveal, because it was in closed session, the name of the individual. But I would like to have a sense of those members present. I know that Mr. Bobbitt is not here this evening, but he has expressed certain concerns, not necessarily concerns, that he's expressed his opinion on it prior, and whether or not we should be authorized to prepare not a contract, but I guess.
It would be an offer letter contingent upon appointment by council.
Yeah, the council appoints. I mean, you clearly vote on this, so we're not talking about a contract, but we're talking about an offer letter, and we are concerned, given the ticking time clock we have, that our CFO will be enjoying retirement sooner than later, that we at least prepare an offer letter, see if that is viable, and then council would have the ability to vote on that at a hopefully meeting quickly. We do have a real time constraint here.
So I would think that if you are supportive of the individual that you interviewed and reviewed credentials about, if that individual accepts the terms that we are offering, we have a special meeting sometime next week, because we can't wait till December for this, because our CFO has already agreed to extend his time, because there's no clear succession plan in our finance department. So he's graciously agreed to extend his time to assist in the transition process, and we're losing time. We were interested in somebody, that person didn't work out, and so that would be the process, and maybe a meeting on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, giving us enough time to provide him.
And that would be.
Tuesday's a holiday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's a holiday.
I mean, I'll come in.
Well, we don't need to decide that part right now, but I think if there's a consensus from council for us to move forward with the conversation and get a response back, then we would make a determination about a special meeting.
And that would be the only item on the agenda, nothing else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have nothing, sorry. I have nothing else, and we have no closed session on the agenda.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you can have your report.
I do.
Congratulations on great and smooth
Well,
election.
before we go on,
Okay, I'm
and
sorry.
congratulations. I want to congratulate our two that's re-elected, Councilman Kanaki and Councilman Bobbitt, who's not here. And also, congratulations to Councilwoman Sanchez. She's gonna fill that 2-year term. And we're looking forward to continuing to work with you on that. Also, and we had a nice, smooth election. We had a good election. There was a few problems county-wise, but kudos to the county. They handled it very well, professionally. No voter was disenfranchised. They were up, open, and we did a great job. So, great job for everybody for the election, superintendent, and our county clerk. The next thing that I have here is pay-to-play letters. I'll be sending out next week sometime for the new year. Boards and committees you'll get at the next, with your votes at the next one to look over. I've received back a lot of responses. I sent them out already for our incumbents, and we thank them. And a little bit of a sad, well, it ain't a little bit, it's a lot of sad news. Nicole, our deputy, lost her father today. Let keep her in your prayers.
Can you let us know when arrangements are?
I'll keep her.
Okay. Sorry. Unfinished business. Seeing none. Old business. New business. This brings us to the last opportunity for public participation with 3-minute limitation.
Ken Carey, Gainsborough Road. Good evening. First, I want to congratulate Councilwoman Santos for her win on the election. And then I also wanted to respond, because I didn't get a chance last time, to Councilwoman Perry's insinuation that I was confused about the form of government when I mentioned the $725,000 grant. I was not confused. In Councilwoman Perry's own words from a previous council meeting, the only responsibility of town council is the budget. The township manager is responsible for the daily operations of the spending approvals, including the aforementioned grant, is the subject of council approval. As I mentioned in the last meeting, the mayor and voting majority in 2022 through this election has failed to move this along. Mr. Nowinski and Mr. Oakley made recommendations that did not listen to, or acted upon, I'm sorry. You had 2 years to make a decision. 2 years to make a decision to do nothing. It's not rushing, especially knowing the term of the grant ending on December of 2025 or 2024. It's also stated that Mr. Nowinski was doing everything he can to get the grant extended. The good thing is, it's never happened in Lawrence that we haven't finished a grant in time, so we do have an opportunity to get it extended, but it's not guaranteed. That $725,000 is not guaranteed. According to the grant, number 2023-09-013-0110.00, the period spanned December 15th, 2022 through December 31st, 2024. And liquidations of the obligations must be made by March 31st, 2025. Perhaps the confusion of Lawrence's form of government is not mine. Maybe it was yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. And I would like to also acknowledge the fact that there was 2 years here that council did nothing. We were here 1 year under the grant regulation. So I appreciate your comments and thank you.
Seeing no comments at this time, we'll close the public participation.
Mayor, I would like to present the the resolutions, 18A, number 342, authorizing acceptance of stabilization bond for 235 Eldridge Avenue.
So, Mr. Steinbeck isn't here.
Oh.
So, no, that's fine. So a motion could be, it's by block unless somebody wants to pull something out. It would be a motion to move 18A1 through.
I wasn't gonna move it in the block.
Okay, you're gonna do it individually.
Most of them, yes. I understood that.
Got it, okay. My apologies.
Again, as I stated, bond acceptance, 18A1, number 342, authorizing acceptance of stabilization bond for 235 Eldridge Avenue.
Second. Okay, Madam Clerk, you have a motion and a second, if you can call the roll, please.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes.
There is no bond release
Okay.
and no escort release. 18D, refunds, number 343, authorizing refunds for tax overpayments. Second. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry? Ms. Sanchez? Mayor Farmer?
Yes, and then the special items of revenue, we do not have any, right?
No.
Okay. So we can do-
At this time, I would like to move resolution 18F, 1, 2, and 3 in a block. Second. F1, just for clarification, number 344, authorizing amending professional service agreement to Claim 3 for inspection services for miscellaneous engineering projects, and number 2 for $30,000. F2, number 345, authorizing professional service agreement to Princeton Hydro, educational signs for Colonial Lake shoreline restoration at $19,200. F3, number 355, authorizing professional services agreement to Road Safety Systems LLC for replacement and repairs to guide rails at various locations for $17,990. I'd like to move those F1 through F3 in a block.
If I could just ask a question?
Give it a second.
Yeah, we have a second?
Second.
If you could clarify for me the Colonial Lake signage? Which signage is for educational, you said?
Yeah, it's for the installation of, it's hydro educational signs that for the Colonial Lake shoreline restoration.
Okay.
Yeah, just notices.
Notices, okay. All right, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. And then for grants, we received the most recent update on the grant listing, right? You have that. Right, okay. There are no questions on that. Council? Yeah?
I would like to move 18H miscellaneous in a block from H1 through H11 with the amendment that we added H11 for the auction, for the items being auctioned. Second.
Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Sanchez?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, for council initiatives and liaison reports, Danny? And you want to talk about the Veterans Day?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to just remind everybody, Tuesday, 11th month, 11th hour, 11th day, Veterans Day, right out front here, we'll be celebrating it. There'll be like refreshments, thanks to, Recreation and your team out there. Some people on the patriotic committee be out there working, so.
Okay, so
All welcome to come.
it's a Recreation Patriotic Committee will be doing on that. Thank you very much. They do a lovely job, so looking forward to it. Anything else?
Yeah, Just wanted to update everybody, we are running a food drive. The collection is gonna run throughout the month of November to provide to local families in need. All donations are gonna be given to Arm in Arm to distribute. So drop off will be at the Lawrence Senior Center. You can place donations in the tub outside. The items that are most needed are canned food, shelf-stable milk, olive and canola oil, dry cereals, and herbs and spices.
Thank you. Yeah, community really organized around that aspect. The school district is also collecting as well. And you can go to their website, ltps.org.
I don't know if anyone's heard, but there are several retailers that are providing a full Thanksgiving dinner for 8 for their family for $40. Aldi being one of them. Not giving a commercial, but it's good to spread the word. Everything from the turkey and all the fixings for 8 for $40.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, I gave my update on trails and open space, so I don't think I have anything else. Any other committees or? I do announce we have another birthday in town for a 103-year-old. I tell you, we're gonna have a club. Like there are at least 20, we have to count. Yeah, 103. Yeah, that's okay, we got time. I just want to give her a shout out. We are going to give her a resolution. I'm going to visit with her family. We're going to sing happy birthday. I'm going to have cake. And I'm just so honored and thrilled that I just attested to the quality of life in our town. This centenarian, she is 103, living in her own home. She had a neighbor who was over 100 also, and I can't wait to meet her. But her name, just gotta give a shout out, her name is Jeannie A. Kobobinski. I don't know if anybody in the audience knows her, Kobobinski. So we have her write up, I'll read it at the next council meeting. Are you related?
I'm a
All
very.
Polish people are related.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said it, I didn't say it. You said it. But, it was wonderful. Her son reached out, to me, reached out, and I said, I am the centenarian mayor. Oh, so I'm going to another birthday. She's 103. She lives in our town. She lives on her own, and she has, family that loves her. So we are going to celebrate her. All right. So if there's anybody else out there you all know about, please send them my way.
Good work.
Your drive. Okay. Written communication, I don't believe I have any. All right. And we will not have an executive session this evening, so I am in search of an adjournment,
I would like to
motion.
make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? Very well. Thank you to the public for coming out this evening and being a part of our democracy here. Lively discussion is always welcome.
You know what I do? I click out up at the top.
And again.
So let's take- this is what I do.
I forgot to mention